Hey juniors, so today we are going to be continuing with our writing prompt. Today is our last day. You're just going to be finalizing your essay and making your last edit. So let's go ahead and get started. Before you go ahead and finish your final revisions, I just want to go over a couple of things about your writing prompt. As you know, Benchmark 2 is this week and next week, and you'll be using this prompt on your benchmark to write your essay. So let's take one more look at your prompt from this week. You have read 2 editorials expressing differing points of view regarding the government's social media plan. Consider the argument each author uses to support his point of view. Then write an essay that evaluates the arguments and claims made by each author. Then analyze how the authors interpret similar facts to support their own arguments. So as we know, part 1 is to write an essay that is evaluating the arguments of each author. Step 2 is interpreting the similar facts used to support each author. So in the intro, obviously you're going to be talking about the main topic of all of the articles. Then it's going to give a brief overview of each one. What is the author's point of view and why? You do not use quotes, absolutely not. And then you state your thesis, which for this topic, or for this prompt, is part 2 of the prompt, which is analyze similar facts. How authors interpret similar facts to support different arguments. We'll talk more about that piece tomorrow during writing intervention, but we've already talked about it a few times before. Your body paragraphs are going to be in ACER format. Make sure you choose quotes to give specific examples. For example, in your essays from this week, I saw a lot of people had things like, for example, Obama wants to connect with people. Well, yeah, Obama does want to connect with people, but exactly how is he planning on doing it? Then you would take the quote that talks about him using Twitter or Facebook, or how he used the government to track down criminals, things like that. I need to see specific examples, not just overall statements. Last but not least, your conclusion. You're going to restate your thesis, which is part 2 of your prompt. You're going to give an example of similar evidence from each text and what side of the argument it supports. And you can definitely use a quote and explain, or you can paraphrase, whatever you find yourself most comfortable for. Now, this is probably the trickiest part of your prompt, the similar evidence from the text and what side each side supports. So basically, you're going to find one piece of evidence that both authors use in their argument. For example, with social media, both authors talk about how the government is accessing people's personal information. They both talk about how the government accesses personal information. Now, the author in Article 1 says that accessing this personal information is the same as spying and is therefore negative towards government use of social media. The second author talks about how the government uses personal information to catch criminals and to prevent crime, and is therefore positive towards the government using social media. So it's the same fact, government accessing personal information, but one author uses it as a con and one author uses it as a pro. That's what you'll be looking for in your articles this week on your benchmark as well, and during homework. Here's a quick reminder about Benchmark 2. I know we've been practicing these essays using 2 editorials. When it comes to benchmark, you're going to be reading 3 articles, a press release, and 2 editorials. In your essay, you need to make sure you talk about the press release too. So you're going to have your intro. Body 1 will be about the press release. Body 2 will be about editorial 1. Body 3 will be about editorial 2. You'll have 3 body paragraphs. This week we've been practicing with only 2 body paragraphs, but on your benchmark you need to have 3 body paragraphs, 1 for each article that you read. So in total you'll have 5 paragraphs: intro, bodies 1, 2, and 3, and conclusion. I'm going to be reminding you about this all week, and you're going to get so sick of me telling you that to you, but I want to make sure you all get full credit on your writing assignments on Friday. And to do that, you definitely need to talk about each one of those 3 articles. So go ahead and get started today with your final draft. Make sure you incorporate the edits that I or your intervention teachers have put on your papers. And let's go ahead and get started.